joining today. I'm Maxwell McGee, here with Cory Jones. Almost forgot your name, but I didn't. And today we are checking out Hex, Shards of Fate. Cory, if I remember correctly from the trailer, this game has amazing digital TCG innovations.
That's what it has in spades is amazing TCG innovations.
Tell me all about it. What is Hex?
So Hex is the first ever MMO TCG.
Okay.
So what we've done is we've taken, and again...
a memortg. Something like that.
And again, I apologize. I know there's probably a lot of people watching this that know what Hex is and have heard me give this speech basically until they're sick of hearing it.
But you're really good at it now.
Yeah, so thank you very much. The MMOTCG concept is to take everything that's great about an MMO, all the things that you would expect from an MMO, which is community building, guilds, auction houses, actual narrative, characters you love, and being involved in stories that move those characters forward. Taking all of those great things and then rolling it up and combining it with a trading card game. And so a trading card game is amazing because it allows you to have deep strategy and creativity and with the deck building and the collecting and all the things that are fun and that make TCG so compelling and so great are only heightened by this idea that those things now have some relevance in an MMO.
Yeah, because you guys aren't just adapting like an existing trading card game that exists in the real world
into
the digital world. Like this game is built from the ground up to be a digital trading card game.
Exactly. That was the whole point, was to say if we were going to build from scratch the greatest trading card game experience possible, what would that be? And that's where I started when I originally created Hex, was saying, what do I want? And for all of the products that I've created and all of the product innovation that I find compelling, I find typically it comes from a place of what do I want? What is most exciting to me? And for me, the idea of being able to be part of a guild where I'd trade cards with my friends, or we would sign up for tournaments together, the idea that I could go and be in these dungeons and have be playing a TCG and have the boss monster drop more cards for me, or this idea that cards have equipment associated with them, and I have a character I'm leveling, and I wear the equipment, and it creates this incredible number of combinatorials. In Hex, every card has 2 pieces of equipment associated with it. And so if you have a card like Burn that does 2 points of damage, I can wear Boots of the Firewalker, and now all of a sudden when I cast Burn, it doesn't go in my...
And you'll do more burning damage.
Well, in that case, it doesn't go into my discard pile. It actually gets shuffled back in the deck.
Oh, wow.
So I can cast it again. So and then the Helm, maybe that does so that it's 4 points of damage. And so I have a certain number of slots on my character, and I will be able to wear different pieces of equipment, and those equipment choices then inform how my deck works. And so when you talk about the combinatorials between the cards themselves, and then also we have cards with socketing, so we have gems that then fundamentally...
We need to see this you're getting me much too excited.
I want
to see this in the game itself.
The number of combinatorials eventually that you have...
combinatorials, I've never heard that word before. It's so good.
The idea that all these choices then create combinations, but the number of choices then creates a combinatorial, and for us it's in literally the billions, and so it really does create that first sort of sandbox gameplay experience. You tell most TCG players, what would you want to do most? And their answer is going to be design your own card.
Yeah.
And Hex is as close as you can possibly get to designing your own cards.
Which we're going to see with like the socketing and the different equipment that you can buy.
Exactly. And also you have a champion that levels up, and you have skill trees where you make choices.
Oh, yes. Skill trees.
And these are all things that get like an RPG player's heart pumping.
They do.
And then a lot of TCG players are actually people who also love different types of games. And the RPG player and the TCG player, you're going to find a lot of crossover. And for that consumer, for that gamer, this game is going to push all their buttons and make their heads explode. So
let's see it. I want to see it. Let's jump into a game.
What you're seeing here is some of the interface. This is probably for a lot of my Kickstarter backers. I think we're the 7th most successful or 5th most successful gaming Kickstarter of all time. If you take out
you guys really blew it out of the water. I was looking at it this morning.
$2.5 million. I think we're like 15th largest Kickstarter ever. So there's probably lots of people watching that are part of my community, part of my Kickstarter backers, the people that I love most in the world. And start seeing some new interface elements. This is again still...
Yeah, this is all like work in progress.
Yes, but it's moving slowly forward. The interesting thing with the alpha is it kind of is coming in phases. We have an alpha out right now too, I should mention, where people actually get to get in and play with all the cards that are in right now. You get a full collection. You get to play. We have tons of people, like 20,000 people playing the game, loving the game. We have a thing on our site, www.hextcg.com, where you can go and become a Slacker backer. You get a huge value, some exclusive cards, and you also get, within 24 hours, access to the alpha. So you can start playing today if you wanted. You could jump on our site. So I'm going to click on play now, go to the proving grounds. So I've got someone here I'm going to go ahead and challenge.
You're going to challenge Puck.
Puck. We're gonna,
Old buddy Puck.
All right, so I'm going to pick a deck here. I'm going to go with Running Wild. I think this is a wild deck. So there's 5 resource types in the game.
Hence the name.
Wild, Blood, Sapphire, Ruby, and Diamond. And those are our 5.
I noticed one of those isn't a precious stone.
2 of them. The wild and Blood is kind of like
neither.
nature and also like sort of this dark. So everything is still placeholder. Some of this stuff is running towards what we want, like this opening screen, the coin flip. Okay, so as you'll see on the bottom left-hand corner, wow, look at that hand.
You got a lot.
I have a lot of resources. So I've got these are my resources. I'm loath to draw again just because I have so many resources. You know what? I'm going to keep this hand because if I get this guy out,
be a champion.
I'm gonna run it. So you can see over here in the left-hand corner, you have your champion. This is who you're playing. Every time you drop one of these cards, which is a resource, you're going to get and I'll show you how it works. I get a resource point.
So if we were going to put this like in Magic the Gathering terms, are those like your mana, your hills and your trees?
Correct. And so you can see here I have my resources. Now it's gone to Puck's turn. And you can see he has a thing called a charge power. So when he plays a resource, it gives you a charge point. So I'm passing priority here. He's cast a guy. And once he has enough, for him he needs to have 4. He can create a blaze elemental and put it into play. For me, I can gain 5 health. Wait a minute. His sounds better.
You're a healer.
So he just cast
game.
a Savage Raider, which is a 1-cost 2/1. His deck's pretty fast, so I might be in trouble here. But we'll see. We'll see. I've got some resources.
So he was able to cast it. It cost 1, which is that tiny little red resource icon.
Correct. So up in the left-hand corner, is the top number with number 1 is how much it cost, and then this is what's called the threshold, which is the little little
lights.
Yeah, there might be more of these lit up.
Okay.
And that means that you have to have a threshold of that amount of that type of resource to actually use that card. And what that does is allow us to make sure that the colors have distinction.
So then like the card, for the card cost at the top corner there, that could be any combination of different resources.
Correct. And what that allows us to do is make sure that all the different resource types have depth in them. So if you want to use a guy like this guy here, the Fist of Brigadon, he is a 6/6 with Crush and Invincible. Crush means that all the damage I do, if the guy who's stopping it can't stop all of it, the champion takes it. And he has Invincible, which means he cannot leave play unless you can void him, which is very difficult. And so, but he's a 6/6, but you can see it takes 6 of that wild resource.
Okay.
So he's just attacked me for 2/1. He's attacking my guy.
So he's very much like a wild champion.
Yeah, you can. The wild, he's a troop, but the only way to play him.
Oh yeah, because you have an actual champion.
Right. So the only way to play him is to be very deep and wild. And that allows us to deep and wild. So that gives us the chance to make sure that we have really good balance in the game. So now I have 3. I have a couple of different cards, and here this one shows off a great digital-only innovation. It's called Escalation. Now, Escalation, what it does is it shuffles your card back into your deck when you cast it, but it actually increases by the numeric value for the next time you cast any one of these cards. So if I have 4 of these, I cast this, it goes back in my deck. All 4 of those versions of this card
are going to get that improved.
They're going to say they create 2 rhinos now. And the next time I cast it, they create 3 rhinos.
Okay.
And so that's what Escalation is, which is clearly something you could only do in a digital TCG.
Does this have like the 4 versions of the same card limitation?
Yes.
Okay.
A lot of the things you'll find.
I can't just have all rhinos in my deck and it's just like, casting rhinos everywhere now.
We've limited your rhino intake, which is probably for the best. So as you can see, I cast this card. I created for me a rhinoceros who's a 3/3 with Crush. Great. Now I can block his orc. And you'll notice that in... are they trying to talk to me? So you'll notice that in the discard pile, that card didn't go in the discard pile. It got shuffled back in. So next time I cast that or any copy of that card, it's going to actually make 2 rhinos and then 3 rhinos, which, as you can imagine, gets pretty good. There's the red version of it actually does 2 points of damage and then 4 points and then 6 points. So it actually just increases. Now he just cast... still loading here. He just cast Persecute, which is -3/-3 to target troop this turn.
Aww.
So he killed
that little boy.
He killed our rhino.
And your rhinoceros.
Yeah, it shows a shin hair being killed on it, but actually it's
it was targeting your rhinoceros.
Killing my rhino.
Okay, so now you're wide open again to attack.
Yeah, so he's now going to do another. So he's running the quick game.
Yeah.
You can see he has 5 cards. He's got 2 escalation or 2
Resource.
He has 2 resources, and this is actually his charge power. So now he's going up to 3. So the way that works is he has 3 to spend, and then it recharges back up to 3 at the beginning of the turn. So if he has spent 2, then that would be a 1/3.
And then when he, if I remember correctly, when he gets a certain number of charges, he like has a special ability.
Yes, that's what this is. So that lights up when he gets
right.
to 4, and he can create a blaze elemental for 1 turn, which is basically a 3/1 with haste, so he can, with speed, so he can hit me right away.
All right, if you folks are just joining us, again, I'm Maxwell McGee, here with Cory Jones, and we are checking out Hex, Shards of Fate, a digital trading card game. And we have just started a new battle, and things are still pretty even.
Yeah, well,
We lost a rhino. You took a little bit of
Oh,
damage.
look what I just drew. So now you'll see it says...
Oh, look, and it's our buddy,
look at
and he's
that.
back, and he gets 2 of them now.
How lucky. What a perfect example of a digital innovation. All right, so now he's going to be upset. Here it comes. First of all, my charge power, when I have 4 resources, I have 4 charge points, I can gain 5 health. You know what? Let's use it.
Why not?
I'm back up to 21.
And you can go over your starting health of 20. Okay.
Correct. And also these add up, the charge, so I might get to 4 again, and I can use it again and gain 5 more.
Okay.
So I'm going to cast my Crash of Beasts again.
And this time you're going to get 2 of them.
And now I get 2 rhinos.
Very nice.
So somewhere Puck is probably dropping a puck.
He's cursing the fates right now.
That's right.
Well, tell me, I want to know a little bit more about what's going on at the center of the ring here with all these different
so
symbols.
what this actually represents is these are the different phases of the turns.
Oh, okay.
So you'll notice that these change, and you'll see the symbols up here, like end turn, start a turn, my prep phase. And so this allows you, like we put in, again, TCGs can be complex. We've done everything we can to make it as simple and intuitive as possible. And one of the things that we've done, oh, look at that. He dropped a really good guy, Throat Cutter. This and all other orcs you control get Rage 1.
It's got those sweet perps.
And so what this means is that when an orc attacks from now on, they actually have Rage 1, which means they get +1 attack permanently. They go up by 1 every time they attack.
Does it? So it like stacks?
Yes, and so one of the great things about a digital card game is that you can actually have modifiers be permanent on the card, including if it went to the discard pile and he got it back out somehow, it still has those modifiers on it, which is, again, one of those crazy innovations. All right, so what do? I've got the 2 guys attacking me. I can suck up the 3 because that guy dies at the end of the turn anyway, because that's what a Blaze Elemental does.
Okay.
But I do want to take out this guy. He would get out of control pretty quick.
He's just going to keep getting stronger and stronger.
Yeah, so because of this guy. So I just blocked him. So they're going to trade, and I'm going to take the 3, but I'm okay. I'm at 21. This is good. I'm in control. All right. So there you go.
All right, so his Blaze is still tapped out for your turn, but he's still got that 2/2 to block with.
But this is actually going to be discarded at the end of his turn because that's how.
Oh, it's the end of his turn, not the end of,
so that's how the power works. And you can see he's at 1/4, which means he spent 3 resources. He has 1 remaining, and then he'll go back up to 4 at the beginning of his turn. So that's how that works. So there it goes. Blaze Elemental. But it does go in the discard pile. So he created a virtual card. Well, they're all virtual cards. He created a card into the game space, but then it remains real for the remainder of this game. So if you
so it actually counts as a card in his discard pile.
Yeah,
it's not just like a token that gets discarded.
Correct. And so if he has something that actually brings that stuff back out, that could be pretty cool. And you'll notice that all of that design space is something we're looking at when we make up all these great cards. The digital component of creating the granularity in this game, all the fun of this game is pretty remarkable. Now I messed up. I should have actually cast this first. So when I play a resource, I gain 3 health.
You played your resource first and then
I messed up. So instead, I'm just going to drop a big fat guy. So I got the honey cap. As he enters play, he gets a permanent +1/+1 for each wild resource point that I have. So you'll see I have 5. And so when I cast him, now this guy is one of what we call the Shroomkin, which are these little mushroom people that have been enslaved by the Shin Hair, the evil rabbits. So see, the IP is great in this game.
I noticed you guys got a little flavor text down there too. I hadn't noticed that.
What's it say? The Shroomkins are a race of sentient mushrooms. Soon after the Shin Hair discover their existence, they enslave the Shroomkins without resistance.
Well, I imagine they want to chomp on their delicious shroom heads.
They actually, I don't think we've had the Shroomkin actually be eaten by the Shin Hair, but I like where you're going. No, I'm very dark with these cutesy races.
So then, I want to with the champions, are there like certain restrictions on which champions you can use versus which cards you're using in your deck? Like, could I have an orc in my wild?
Yeah, so there are no restrictions, but the restrictions are sort of built in because when you look at the charge power, it takes 2 rubies as his threshold, and then he can do his ability.
So it wouldn't change to like green if I were using a green deck or something.
No,
like
no.
that.
And so for him, you see it's 1 wild threshold, 4 gain 5 health.
Okay.
So that doesn't change. So yeah, you could use, and then I think there's 20 PvP champions to start with lots of different abilities. We've got a dwarf that makes robots. We've got guys that you lose 2 health and gain 1 card. We've got all these different very cool charge abilities that become these fun build-arounds for the actual deck building experience. All right, so he just cast an example of a socketed card. So we have the Shamed Gladiator. So you'll see he's two to cast. See, the orcs are this gladiatorial race. He's shamed because clearly,
he lost one of his.
He lost an arm. What kind of gladiator? And he didn't die. This is BS.
He did not get to die a glorious death.
No, so he's shamed. So you'll see he has 2 to cast. He has a 1 threshold, and then you'll notice he has socket. So he has a socket, and plugged into the socket a minor gem because you have major and minor. When this troop enters play, it deals 2 damage to your champion. That's part of him. But then also his socket says that he has speed, which means he can attack right away.
Oh.
So
normally when you play a monster, it has like summoning sickness, basically.
Correct.
Oh, and he's doubling up.
And he just cast Claw the Mountain God. Okay, so at the start of your turn, this troop deals 2 damage to you, so he has a drawback, but he's only 3 for a 5/4. This guy's a beast. And they've all got Throat Cutter's ability now, which says that they all have a rage.
And they're all going to start,
So this guy, I don't know what he's going to. He's not going to attack me with this Shamed Gladiator. He's clearly way too shamed. Because even if he attacks them, he's only going to go to 3, and I can block out with my with your
mammoth 5/5.
Yeah, so he's going to wait till next turn and try and really get on top of me here. But if I can draw 1 more resource, I can drop
I
my...
really want you to play this fire-breathing squirrel. I've been looking at him the whole time. He's a giant squirrel.
I know,
that's the best.
I have a real soft spot for squirrels.
I've been noticing in the chat you guys have been getting a lot of compliments on your art.
Thank you. That's been interesting. I mean, we've been at this for this game for almost 3 years. We've used hundreds of fantasy artists. Oh, boy, 2 Fists of Brigadon. If I draw 1 more resource, this is going to be...
we're going to be laying the hammer down
this
in a
is,
very literal way.
Exactly. I'm going to be giving a massive beatdown. So what I want to do is I'm going to actually... I'm going to hold back because I want to play a little defensive because once I get on top of him with these fists, the game's over, basically. So I'm going to force him to attack into my guys. I can take out his guys, keep the game on my pace, and then we'll take it from there. So the art, we've used hundreds and hundreds of fantasy artists, people from all around the world. The art's been getting better and better as we find more and more people. The popularity of the Kickstarter, the opportunity to have people playing the game and seeing the game and get excited about the game has allowed us to sort of reach a much broader audience.
Aww. Did your game go to minimize?
I think it did.
Because your computer wants to tell you some very important information about networks in our building.
Yes. Okay, great.
And we're back. There we go.
It's a little chuggy. Hopefully it fixes it.
Yeah,
okay, so now...
it might take a second to smooth itself out.
There we go. All right, so...
But that network information, I'm telling you, it's very
I know,
important.
that was close.
It was good.
That was good. I was worried about the network and how it was configured. So you'll see, now it's my chance to block. So here's the question. Do I take the 3 and leave the guy back?
If you block the 6, your guy will get killed because the 6 beats your 5, but will you also be able to kill...
Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll block here. No. If I do that, then I got to leave him. So
no, you'd have to use your 5 to take out his 6.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and suck it up. He's got 2 cards in his hand.
And we are going to
fingers
pretty
crossed
good for that extra energy draw.
Let's hope he doesn't have something to make his guys bigger. Nope. Okay.
Oh, okay.
He could have had, we have some cards like a Rubiora that would allow him to...
Some like instant spell cast.
Yeah, to give him like, the ability to do his damage first or something that would have been very bad for me, which didn't happen, so luckily. Now, if I don't get a blocker, he's going to be able to throw in the Throat Cutter, who he usually wouldn't attack with because he wants his power. Oh, look at that. All right, so we're in a good shape now. So I'm going to drop my resource.
Oh, here we go. Yes, that's exactly what we needed.
So I gained 3 life.
Yeah, I got a little health from your...
Now I'm going to throw out the Crazed Squirrel Titan. And so what happens with the Crazed Squirrel Titan is he comes into play, and I get to target another You'll see here, I get to target another troop and do my damage to him, and he does his damage back. So they immediately exchange damage.
So you just instantly go into combat.
Correct.
Sort of.
So I did my damage to him. He did his back to me, not enough to kill me. Now I've got real board control because he has nothing, and I have a giant squirrel.
Okay, we got a couple of questions coming in from the chat real quick.
Sure.
Didn't mean to interrupt. I know Bob Jones, 1980. Your question has disappeared from my list up here, but I think he was asking about how many cards roughly are in the game so far.
In the game, we have I think it's 200 and something. We're very close to 300. Will be in for the first set.
Okay.
But our sets will average probably between 220 and 300 cards per set, and we're going to have upwards of 4 sets a year.
Whew.
So.
Keeping yourselves busy with that.
Yeah, we have an incredibly devoted team and a large team to make sure that we can actually make that happen. You know, one of the things that's very important about a trading card game is the realization that it's serialized content. Without new cards coming out every few months, you're going to be hard-pressed to keep people interested because they want new, fun stuff to play with. And so we know that lesson very, very well, and it's definitely a focus for us.
And I also noticed a lot of people in the chat are asking about like interrupt, counterspell, like counter-type cards that you can play in response to other players' actions.
So I have a bit of a tirade that I won't go into, but there are a lot of games coming out that want to jump onto the collectible card game excitement.
Counterspell, counterspell.
Yeah, but the thing is, they don't have that. So most of the games that are coming out that are calling themselves trading card games are trying to make it as simple as possible. A very good goal. I think that they can bring in a lot of new consumers, and a lot of people will be very excited to try a chained strategy game like a TCG without all the complexity. The thing is, without what we call pass priority, you're not a real TCG. So unless you have the opportunity to stop the other player's turn and respond to what they're doing, you're not really a TCG. You're a card game.
Yeah.
And there's lots of great card games coming up, and I love them. But
you don't really have that added depth of like back and forth play.
No, and that's really for me what defines a trading card game is pass priority and the ability to stop the other player's turn. That's where real strategy becomes, or the strategy becomes very, very deep, and that's something that we have in spades. Now our game is a little more complex than It's considerably more complex than the other stuff that's coming out. But we're trying to be a real TCG, and that requires pass priority.
And speaking of complexity, I've noticed one of the new cards you have on the field there has a bunch of symbols on it.
It does, and so these symbols represent.
Oh, this is our this is
crush,
this guy.
which means, like I said, the damage tramples over into the opponent. Invincible means he cannot be destroyed. This card cannot be damaged or destroyed. The only way to get rid of him is by effects that say they void, which is a very different thing. And he has to attack each turn if he's able. So those are what those symbols are representing. Some of this stuff, again, like I've said, this is alpha. That's still a work in progress.
Yes.
I think this game looks beautiful where it is. You should see sort of the stuff in the lab still.
Yeah, sort of the mock-ups you guys have.
It's incredible. Even the stuff we actually have working and just haven't rolled out yet is incredibly beautiful. We have a new art director who's just amazing. Like, we've got an incredible group of people working on the game. Now, my opponent is going to soil himself when he sees me drop another one of these. So I've got also the Glimmerglen Witch, which when I play her I get 3 health, which is great. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to drop another fist. So there is no way he's coming back from this.
I know. You are rolling deep into 6/6s now, my friend.
Yeah, I think I've got him. So it automatically, that's another thing, because it's digital, it automatically attacked. I didn't even do that. So if there is something that the card automatically has to do, it takes care of all that book work for you.
Could you cancel that attack if for some reason you did?
Nope. It's
you're locked in.
Yeah, it has to. So it says he must attack.
Oh,
each turn
right.
if
That's
able.
part. Okay, that's not just like a universal rule for the game. That's like
no. It's just for that
his
guy.
Card. Okay.
But but it's a good. Like, I'm actually demonstrating a lot of interesting things. If there are components of the card that are automatic, like you have to take 2 damage from the card or whatever it is,
there's no chance that you're going to forget about it or they're going to forget
about it. The digital
about it.
nature is great because it allows you to make sure that all of that stuff occurs, and that helps make the game a little quicker, make sure that you're not going to cheat or be cheated.
Or legitimately accidentally forget.
Right. You can't accidentally draw an extra card.
Let's just not worry about it. Just keep playing. We're fine.
Exactly. So now it's his turn. He's casting another Shamed Gladiator.
So much shame.
Just to have something to throw
So much shame going on right now.
in front of me.
What
so
else you
here's
got there?
so this is really cool. So what happened was Zoltog, who is awesome, he's one of the
What's up,
leaders of the
Zoltog?
orcs. So when an orc troop you control deals damage to a champion, create a Savage Raider and put it into play. So what happened was he cast the Shamed Gladiator. When he comes into play, it deals 2 damage to your champion.
And then that
So
triggered
he
the
was
other
an
card's
orc that
effect.
did damage, which triggered him and created a Savage Raider. Fun little combos. And that's where the digital part is just so amazing. All of this crazy fun combos you can do. It's not going to save him. He's dead, but
he gets to show off.
But he got to show off that feature, which I appreciate because it was really, really cool. We have a lot of so we talked about, up here in the top you have tells you what part of the phase you're in. This ring actually shows you and then lights up whichever part of the phases you're in, the turn you're in. Over here we have your countdown clocks. So one, it shows you how much time you have total for the game.
Okay.
Also, you have a certain amount of time per turn, and there's inactivity. So if you're inactive for a certain amount of time, it's going to give you a loss. We also have the ability to click on this and show you all the different phases, which ones you want to stop. You can do slide stops, which allow you to have it ask you with a little countdown clock, do you want to do anything? And then it counts down until that's gone, and then it just passes through for you. So what we've done is we've tried to make this as seamlessly... we've tried to make this as easy as possible for you to create the experience you want.
Yeah.
All right,
So if you want like a total speed chess kind of experience,
yeah.
you can build that for
Or if you
yourself.
want to stop every single time something's going on, it gives you that chance. So here I just got Gigantify, which gives my troop +7/+7, and I actually have enough to cast it, so that's a fun way to finish this.
This
Will
is gonna
be
be
these
gross.
guys.
This is
Okay,
gonna
so
be
now
gross.
he's probably gonna block.
Just thinking about it.
It was actually mine. So now it's
Oh,
his
okay.
pass priority.
He's like, should I just take the damage and end it now?
All right, so he just blocked out. I go ahead and cast.
Oh, you can have multiple blockers. To
Yes,
the
you
same
can.
card, okay.
Absolutely. You see, it shows you who's blocking who. I just cast Gigantify. Now I have a gigantic Fist of Brigadon. He's a 13/13.
Now then, is that damage you're about to deal is like in a...
So yeah,
okay, this is about what I was about to ask
I
here.
select my block order. So I say, yeah, 4 to him, 2 to him. All right. So you can see some of this stuff is still placeholder, but
Sure.
we're getting there. So I say, yep, that looks good to me. Now I did all that damage, and then the rest spilled over to him, and then I won the game.
And Bob's your uncle.
Exactly. And so again, this is the victory screen. Again, still placeholder. Some of the great stuff we're doing. It's going to show your champion. These wings are actually these glowing We have all these particles and glows that are going to be built into this that are still in process. The right-hand side, we're actually going to have a thing where it shows you which card was most valuable in the game that you played.
Oh.
And so even if you lost, maybe your card was the one. We have a whole thing we've built that shows there's a back-end algorithm that's judging all the cards that have been played during the game and then figures out which of these cards had the biggest impact on the game.
Oh, so it's not just like monetary value or something like that.
No,
You're
no.
talking about like MVP, like...
Although I like that too. Which card was most valuable in the secondary market during the game that you played? Hooray.
Hooray.
No, it actually, it shows you which card, the MVC, the most valuable card.
Ah,
And so
okay.
that'll show you which card. So even if you lost, it may be like, oh yeah, I lost, but my Crush of Beast.
But remember that sweet play I made
I won that play. And then in the middle, there's going to be all these really fun stats about like how many resources were played, how much damage was done. And we have a big list of cool stuff that's going to display, and then also there'll be some random ones that are even more wacky, like which card that was played has done the most damage ever. So like
Okay.
we on our double back, it tracks everything it's done. So lots of really fun stuff. We've also had the suggestion from the community. One of the great things about Hex in general, or maybe the greatest thing, was that the Kickstarter created for us this remarkable community of people that are so invested in not only having the chance to play the game, but having us make this the best game ever, that my message boards become this sort of crowdsourced place for the best ideas. And as many great ideas as I've had, or my guys have had, Chris Woods, Ben Stoll, Dan Clark, all these incredible designers, Kevin Jordan, all these great guys I have working on the game have great ideas, but the crowdsourced component, my community, have had so many amazing ideas. It's just remarkable. And one of the ideas that came out of the community was the opportunity to see what your next 2 draws were. So how many times have you played and wanted to goldfish and see what the next two?
That's pretty
that's
cool.
called.
Because then you get to the end, you're like, if I had just played, if I just got this one card.
Right. Actually, goldfishing is when you just draw a test hand. I think it's called rabbit hunt. Anyway, there's a term. I don't know what it is. I'm sure
very technical.
Someone will be telling me soon. There's a term for what the next two cards were, and so I think that'd be really interesting and be something I think people would find very, very fun.
And then just to remind people, there is like an alpha. So the alpha version that we were playing here, people can actually opt into that.
Yes. So like I said, going to hextcg.com, top right-hand corner, you can be a slacker backer. It's $50, and then you get a huge value in the game. I think it's like $80 or $100 worth of cards, and also exclusives you can only get from being a slacker backer. And those cards that you get from doing that, they're a couple fun little PvE cards. You'll only ever get those for the Slacker Backer. We're going to be turning off Slacker Backer in the not too distant future.
Okay.
But you can still do it now. And when you sign up, you actually will get an email from us within about 24 hours. And sometimes it's been very, very quick, like within the hour of doing it.
Does it just depend on like if Steve is watching the inbox that day and it's just like, oh wait, there it is?
It kind of. We're trying to, we're not a big group, but we're doing a lot. And then you actually will be able to jump in the alpha, and you got 4 of every card to play with, make decks, chat with people. Starting tomorrow, fingers crossed, knock on wood, we actually are putting in some limited tournament stuff.
Oh, okay.
And so the ability to do 8-man single elimination tournaments is something coming up. And some of the cool stuff with that, like I'll show you.
Yeah, so like right now, is it just PvP only, or has AI been implemented yet into this?
There is some, like, and it's actually funny. I'll show you real quick. In the AI, you can play the AI to sort of practice.
There is a play AI button.
We put a picture of Chris Woods, our lead engineer, monkeying around with a robot.
Heavy-duty engineering there.
Yeah, and the point of this was that Chris has done very little work on the AI.
Okay.
Chris Woods is the most experienced TCG AI engineer in the world. He has done more of them, literally. His entire career just about has been working on digital TCGs, and he has built the AI for the vast majority of them. He is the most experienced person. He is creating this incredible AI for us. This is not it. This is a
this is
a very dumbed down AI. The AI that he's creating
play some cards,
right?
But that's about it.
The AI that he's creating, it's actually still reasonable, but the AI he's creating is incredibly powerful. It's also going to have all these great storytelling hooks built into it. So the idea that you'll play in a dungeon, and the monster you're fighting in that round may hate dwarfs, and every time you play a dwarf, it's going to do everything it can to attack that dwarf card.
Oh, okay. So they've got like a little personality.
Yeah,
traits.
and then you can actually exploit those personality traits as part of the strategic component of playing through the PvE. Like most of the time when we tell people that whole piece of it, it was never on their radar that the PvE experience could have something so incredibly deep and fun and interesting.
I just assumed I'd be playing against a weird version of a human opponent.
Exactly, and also there are thousands, hundreds at this point, hundreds, coming up on 1,000, but there will be thousands of cards that are just for the PvE part of it, and are cards that you can't even get. We've made cards that only the opponents in the automated opponents in the PvE setting can play. So it's not just like you'll see with a lot of
so you can see some completely like different tactics and different.
You'll see a lot of DCGs. You jump in, you're playing the hey, I'm in the campaign. You're basically just playing AI, playing the same cards as you.
Yeah.
No. We've got all of these cards and experiences and storytelling that are only in that dungeon setting.
Okay.
And so you'll never get those cards, and that allows us all this space to do some real innovation. Some of the dungeons
that seems really smart, not to just to try and recreate the versus a human opponent experience.
No,
seems like a lot of AI is trying to do.
Some of the dungeon experiences play like a deck building game. Some of them play like completely different card games that then use the mechanics of your cards in a brand new way.
Okay.
So imagine using your TCG collection in a brand new and very compelling way to play the game that is not even sort of hex at that point. And so all of your collectibles become that much more valuable. So I'm showing you right now is the card, the deck.
Speaking of collectibles.
I'm showing you the deck manager. This is still, we have a complete overhaul of this that's coming out, I think, relatively soon, that changes up how this all works. But you'll notice we just added recently, well, you might not notice this, but we just added recently the reserve, so now you're actually able to build your side deck. So you have a reserve of 15 cards, so when you play in the new tournament feature we're going to be launching tomorrow,
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, you'll be 2 out of 3. And so
Okay.
once you've won or lost the first game, you get to go into your reserve and actually side in some cards to change your deck based on what kind of deck they're playing, which is another one of those very deep, real TCG experiences that you're sort of not seeing in anything else, with the exception of the most popular TCG that exists. I won't mention what it is. I'm sure everyone knows.
It shall not be named.
That's right. The TCG that shall not be named. No, I love Magic. I think it's a great game. So you'll see we are getting closer and closer. We've added the ability to change how big the cards are, or just see a list. You'll people who have been playing in the alpha will notice that things are loading much faster. Sometimes it's the little things that mean a lot, like the cards are loading. And so we've been doing a great job, making sure the database and the back end is getting more solid, is getting faster. And so like the comments we've been getting lately, and again, I read the message boards every day. I'm very plugged into my community. It's getting much more stable. We've gotten to the point now where the game is really not crashing all that much. There's a few cards that we know are wonky. The one you mentioned, Counterspelling the Counterspell. It creates some syncing issues, but we are on track to have that fixed here pretty quick. Most of the cards are actually working right now, and the alpha. Again, people are sick of hearing me say it, but. The alpha is definitely the sausage making, and going behind the scenes of the sausage factory is grotesque. And
sometimes it can be a little rough around the edges.
Yeah, you don't want to see how that's made. But like I said, we felt like, for Hex, because of Kickstarter and because of the kind of community that had sort of popped up around us, bringing them into it and making them part of building this game has been the most rewarding piece of this entire experience. And that's something that we're going to carry through into the game long term, because TCGs, by their very nature, require a balanced meta. And that means that when you watch all the tournaments that are occurring and you watch the kinds of cards that are boiling to the top and winning games, you have to make sure that the rock, paper, scissors component, like what beats what, and this strategy will knock out this strategy, has to be incredibly healthy. And the only way they're going to do that is by being intrinsically connected to your base. And so that is our number one goal, is to have this incredible community that we are responsive to, that we are part of. And, as an example, we created this thing where we have the apprentice program. And so we've gotten hundreds and hundreds of applications. What we're going to do is we're going to bring in fledgling game designers that will be on a 90-day trial period. And then from those 90-day trial periods, we're actually going to bring people in to be game designers. And we've had some incredible applications come in from people who don't have any experience, wouldn't know how to get into the games industry, but have a passion for gaming, a passion for TCGs. And we found some great people. And I think... it's something we're going to continue. We're going to kind of turn it on and off depending on how many people we need. I can't hire everyone.
You can't just keep infinitely bringing in more and more people.
I would love to hire everyone, especially all those people that have done such a great job applying and have amazing design sensibilities. But we've had some people trickle to the top so far, where it's still open, so we're still looking. But that's an example of connecting back to the community.
Sure.
And for a TCG, that's what's most important. And then we go that next step to esports, which is a giant focus for us, and sort of that phase 2 once we get the actual game working.
Well, as we go into the, I think, well, we got a little bit more time. Why don't we go ahead and jump into another game real quick, just to show off, and then
I'll show a different deck here.
Yeah. So is Puck a friend of yours back home?
This is actually the QA server.
Okay.
So everyone who would usually be on this got off for this.
Oh, okay. So we've kind of got it on lockdown.
We've got it on lockdown. I didn't want to. This would usually be the chat window would typically be filled up with profanity. So I'm gonna play.
Now I am a big fan of robots.
Okay, so I will play iRobot.
Okay.
And I think they're probably gonna play the Pegasus Diamond deck against me. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. All right, so here you go. Our coin toss.
Who's it gonna be? Ta-da!
He played the same deck as me.
Robot's mirror.
I'm actually that's not what I want to show.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna concede this.
See if he gets the message, or you could actually send him a message too.
Not play. Here I'm gonna tell him to. Whoop.
See, like you play
diamond. All right.
Some people are asking about foils.
So the way it works is And again, all that great innovation. One of the things we have is a double back. So you have a regular
I think we need
card.
to see some double back. We've been talking about double backs a lot. Did we show double backs?
No, it's actually
I
can't implement. I haven't
Double
can't
back.
show it to you yet. It's not in this build.
Okay.
But the way look at that, we got a reasonably good hand.
Yeah, you got a
I'm gonna
pretty
keep
balanced
that.
hand.
So the way it works is that you flip a card over once, like a regular card. You see its back.
Mm-hmm.
Great. That's important because the backs of our cards are a great place for us to have sleeves, which we use for lots of.
Yes.
There's lots of collectible, achievement-y sort of stuff in the game where you can actually get sleeves for doing stuff. But one of the other things is that you flip it again and you get to its double back.
And it goes into some sort of weird card paradox.
Exactly.
Where there is another back.
Exactly. So on the double back, you'll actually have 3 achievements for each card. And so when you unlock those 3, and again, every card is a unique object. And so when you unlock those 3 achievements, it actually gives you an extended art version of the card, which means that the art box goes all the way down to here, and so you get this.
You can
and
see
so
the rest of the image.
we've designed all the images to have some really, not all, but a lot of them have really cool reveals.
It's not just going to be like he's standing on a cardboard box. And
No,
it's like, good job.
Some of them are pretty funny, actually. Like the Squirrel Titan you just saw.
Yeah.
He actually, in his foreground, a bunch of deers running away from him, and then the same artist did a couple of those, and he put deers running away from stuff like several times. Then it became an inside joke.
Yeah.
We're like, put some deers
Just
running
always have
away
a
from
deer
it.
in the back just running away from it.
So like frogs and deers, we got some funny like ongoing jokes in them. But each piece of art was commissioned at the size that allows it to be this other, which is really cool. So he just cast a guy that's a 1/1 with Inspire. Now Inspire, again, another great digital innovation. If another troop comes into play after the Inspire guy that costs the same or more, they do something. And in this case, it's to give him +1 on the back end.
Okay.
And so you'll notice that when this guy came into play, you can see it's green. He was a 1/1, but now he's a 1/2 because
he was
the Prairie
inspired.
Scout was inspired. And you'll see he's a coyote. He's part of our
Is that a permanent boost then?
yes, forever. This might be a little bit of, he's got a quick start on me here. And for 3 I can make a worker bot, which is okay, but he might have me this game. This is pretty good.
Surely you have not lost the game on the first turn.
No, I'm not. But he's coming out strong here, and this deck's a little slow. It's more of a combo deck. So now I'm going to cast this guy. He's a 2/2. He's a technical genius. He's a dwarf.
Genius.
Technical genius. He makes it so that artifacts are 1 less in terms of cost for me to play. So I'm going to throw him out. He's a 1/2. So now it blocks both of his guys. Although he has a guy that he can pump his guy to +1/+1, so he can still sort of eke the damage through. That's fine, because next turn I can get a 1/4 and I can stop the bleeding.
You can stop the bleeding, yes.
And I think once I turn this
a bit
around,
of triage is
and once I
needed.
get the inspiration engine kicking, and I'll show you what that is in a minute, then he's going to be in trouble.
So I missed it. What is your champion special ability?
This guy,
The worker bot.
he makes a worker bot. So for 3, he makes a 1/1 guy that cannot attack. He can only block, but he's a robot, and I have lots of stuff that triggers off of robots.
Okay.
So the inspiration plans, as an example, I can exhaust any number of dwarves and or robots you control and add construction counters to this. When I get to 10, it transforms into something else. The inspiration engine. The inspiration engine is awesome. Ooh, yikes. Okay, so he just cast the Protectorate Defender, Major Socket. When he comes into play, if he's destroyed, he gets shuffled back into his deck, but when this troop deals damage to an opposing champion, troops you control get +1/+1. So I cannot let that guy get through and damage me under any circumstances.
And he got the buff from the inspiring guy.
Yeah, he'll
earlier,
make
too.
everyone else bigger. So luckily, I've got the Cavern Commando who can block him out a little bit. If not, I would be in some pretty serious trouble. But that said, he might have some removal. So we'll see what happens here. My draw, another resource. Okay, that's good. That means I can throw this. I'll drop my Cavern Commando. I'm going to go ahead. So you'll notice my charge ability is all glowing and lit up. That means
Does
it's
the card
usable.
go to that side panel so
yeah,
that the opponent would have an opportunity to
Correct.
stop it?
That shows you it also shows you the chain.
Okay.
And so when you have a bunch of cards interacting, those will all be stacking in there and
Okay.
showing you lines to each other. So it shows you exactly what the heck's going on. So I just used my charge ability that was glowing.
We've got our
So
1/1
I just made
pacifist robot.
my little worker bot. Very cute. He's a defensive 1/1. So now I'm doing good. So I'm not going to declare attackers. My deck's a combo deck. I'm trying to set up a giant win condition. So the double back I mentioned earlier.
The double back.
The achievements are all fun PvE stuff. So it may be that it does damage to a certain type of troop, or that it has multiples of it in play. And so Ben Stoll actually made up the majority of these. Kevin Jordan Ben Stoll worked on these, and there are, I mean, with hundreds of cards, including PvE, you got like
Some of them
600
are
cards, and with three achievements per card, you know, got thousands of achievements. And
Gotta get a little creative.
Yeah, and Ben actually made up, and Kevin made up like funny jokes out of the 3, and they play back to the card, and they're puns, and so they're going to be these. Every card has a little unique puzzle built into it. So like, I don't know how we could have jam-packed any more gameplay into this thing. Like it's ridiculous.
Now, when you're unlocking those like double back rewards for your cards, is that affecting all cards of that type, or is it just that specific card? Okay.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. It affects that card and all copies of that card in your deck while you're playing.
Oh, okay.
So it's not that you have to use that specific one, but if you have 4 of it in your deck, all of it's happening to all 4. That way, we want it to be a positive play experience, not a negative play experience. The other great thing is that we have a leveling bar at the bottom that's about like how much damage it did or how many cards it's let you draw. Once that's full, it actually triggers the foiling. And so once you fill that up, you can actually make the card foil. So you can have the foil extended art version of it all through gameplay. So now I'm going to actually cast the Inspiration Engine. So that used to cost 2. It actually costs 1 because of the technical genius.
Yes.
It was 1 when it was in my hand. Now that it's casted, it actually puts it at 2 because that's its actual cost. I'm going to go ahead and trigger my Bottled Vitae, which costs 2. I sacrifice it. I gain 1 health. I get a charge, and I draw a card. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. I've just activated it. Pass priority. Let's see what I draw. Maybe I'll draw something. Ooh, nice. So I just drew a Petrobot. Now this says I pay 1 less to play this
robot
for
dinosaur. That's the best thing.
I pay 1 less for this troop for each robot and or dwarf I control.
Hey,
and I currently control some. And this guy's making, because he's an artifact, makes him even cheaper. So that guy's
a genius.
He's a sweet 3/5/5 flyer that I can get for 3. Unfortunately, I only have 1 right now. So I'm just going to go ahead and continue. Now, I have to stop this guy. Maybe if he attacks with everyone, I let the other people through and take a beating. But we'll see where he goes with this. I'm looking pretty good. I'm scared of that Protective Defender, but we're doing good. So, like I said, the double back has the foiling, has the extended art. It also keeps a track of all the stuff your card's done, so you'll get some statistics about it over its life. You'll also have a little trophy case on the card. And if you win in our esports, it will actually give you a unique trophy.
You'll get a tiny little trophy.
A tiny little trophy in the trophy case that says this card was in the deck that you used to win a specific event. And when you roll over, it says when you won it, who won it. And the great thing about that, oh wow, he just cast a guy that gets bigger every time he gains life. So he's setting up a pretty
got a sizable army there.
Yeah, so we're gonna get in trouble here. Let's see what he does.
Your Inspiration Engine better be real inspiring.
Well, look at this. All right, so he's gonna force through a little damage. This is when this troop deals.
That's right, because when he deals direct damage, his dudes are gonna get buffed.
Only with that one guy. So what I'm gonna do is actually, I can block out here. I can double it up. And then he'll kill that guy, but I will
You won't be able to
kill
sacrifice
him. Oh, he'll actually pump him. So that takes him to 3. I'm just going to take the 2. Unfortunately, he'll gain life. No, that's Swift Strike. Okay, I'm just going to take it. This might have been a big mistake, but we'll see.
Fingers crossed.
Okay. Not always easy to talk and play at the same time.
No, I hear you. I hear you. It's a skill unto itself.
That was the first strike priority.
Okay.
Now he did the damage back. Okay. Okay.
So
Now I'm actually gonna use this right now.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go ahead and exhaust. You'll notice people who have been playing the game will notice I'm exhausting multiple things as one thing right now before you do each of them individually.
Oh. Okay.
So this is actually a pretty
just
awesome.
to help speed it up a little bit.
Yep. So I just got myself 3 counters. So I need to get up to 10. Actually, there are 10 or more.
You got a long way to go.
No, I'm doing good. It's only a few turns. But the Inspiration Engine, when it makes it, what it does is I can exhaust it, and it gives me a random artifact. So it pulls
like all
the artifacts in the game. So how fun is that?
Not just stuff in your collection?
No, it's all artifacts.
Oh,
so how
like
funny
that.
and fun is
I
that,
like
right?
that.
All right, so I've got some awesome stuff to do here. So one, I can use this, my charge ability to just hit again.
Yep.
So
Get another sacrificial robot out.
Yeah, and which also made the Petrobot cheaper to cast. so I can throw him out. Also, this is 0 because of my Dwarven, my mastermind.
He's a genius.
And for 2, I can sacrifice it and deal 2 damage to a target troop, which is good news for me. So now I can use this.
Take out that vampire, dude.
Well, I can
Oh, no, that one would be a better target.
Yeah, make him draw him again. He has nothing to buff him. So I'm not as afraid of the rest of these dudes. So that guy just triggered. His ability is that he goes back into his deck. Yeah, fine. You draw him again. Let's see how that goes for you. That's a what?
He's gonna get him like on the next draw.
So that's also called a one shot, which means that once that happens once, it goes off the card. And so
okay, so
again,
it doesn't just infinitely keep going back.
More
into the
digital
deck.
innovation. Things that can only happen one time, and then the abilities are removed from the card. Imagine this, like the granularity and the amount of space. Like I used the analogy earlier, and I'll use it again. Whenever we go in, we go into the mine to dig for gold for design space or clever designs. We have a full wheelbarrow. We're walking out of the mine, and there are giant gold nuggets on the ground that we have to remember to go back and pick up later. It's an embarrassment of riches.
Yeah, because you guys have worked on your company. You guys have worked on like physical trading card games before.
So
I imagine there were a lot of like ideas you guys would have had working on those physical games. Like if only this were on a computer.
Yeah, we made. So I originated I personally came with the idea to do the World of Warcraft TCG, and then worked with some great people, and we made that game happen. And then Cryptozoic actually had that game, and there was a lot of good learning there, and so that's awesome. So he just cast another one of these guys. Now, unfortunately for me, he triggers a bunch of inspires, including one that makes him gain health, which then makes this guy bigger. So things are starting to get out of control. He just used his charge ability.
Combo strings going on.
Yeah, he used his charge ability to give someone life drain. So he just gave it to one of his guys with the quick strike. So now he's going to go ahead and attack me with his. He gave this guy life drain. All right, so that's a 4. But he can pump him for 1, which would then kill this guy, which is terrible. So really,
is that guy kind of highlighted there? Like the game's sort of suggesting like.
No, not at all.
Okay.
It's never going to tell you. It's not going to tell you what to do.
It's not going to be like maybe you should know.
So the key is he can make this a 6. If I block with 3, 4, I got to block with a bunch of guys and just get rid of this guy.
And just feed him into the grinder.
Yeah, because I want to get rid of him. I can't let him continue to haunt me here. So I'm going to go ahead and defend. 1, 3.
So that'll give you 4.
Yeah. I'm going to get all these guys. He can mess with me, but I'm going to force some hard decisions on him here. Declare block. Then, did I do this right? Yep. So there's going to be a part of the turn here where I can actually still. So he just used his guy.
Yeah.
In response, I'm going to use this, and I'm going to exhaust these guys before they die, so I can get those tokens.
Oh wow. Okay. Interesting.
So even though I've blocked,
so blocking doesn't count as exhausting them?
No. Blocking does
so now even though he's going to kill a couple of them, you were able to use them.
At least I used them
for their tokens,
which means I'm up to 7. Oh boy! So now he's in a tricky spot because he killed my big guy. Yes, he did. He killed my big guy. And so he used all of his attack damage to make my big guy die. He left me my little guys. I killed his big guy, so he's still doing good. He's got a lot of dudes out there, but unfortunately for him, I now have, and I've got the Volcannon. So the way the Volcannon, which is a volcano and
it's a
cannon.
volcano that then goes into a cannon.
Yes. And I can exhaust a dwarf or robot I control to deal 3 damage to a champion. I exhaust 2 dwarfs or robots to ready this. So when I have a whole bunch, I can just cycle it.
So yeah, you can just reload it by exhausting people.
So now do I want to show off and go for the gusto here?
I think you need to go for the gusto.
Go
big. Go big or go home.
I'm going to go big. So I'm going to use this. And we're going to see what we get here. So it only takes 3, so I can leave one guy back. So now you'll notice, that's right, it comes into play exhausted. So I'll get it next turn. That was a mistake. I'm a noob, clearly. So as you can see here, now I create a random artifact and put it into play. That's fun. The whole creating the random thing is when done right, and we have a lot of rules internally about how you can use the word random.
Randomization.
Yeah, because anything that's random in terms of me having to make strategic decisions and then the random factor determines whether or not those strategic decisions were good is bad random. Critting is bad random for chain strategy games like TCGs. Random that's more like the inspiration engine, that's just fun. So there's a big difference, and it's something you've got to really be careful with. How are we doing on time? Are we okay?
Not entirely sure. Producer Dan, how are we doing on time? We're going to finish this one out?
Great.
All right, we're going to finish this one out for you folks, and then we'll cut it.
This will only be like another hour or so. So there's a ton of innovation in the game. We've talked about a little bit of it. The
Double back,
socketing, all the digital innovation with the cards. When it gets to the PvE side of it, how the dungeons play.
Yeah, the AI.
There's
patterns.
I just cast on these big guys. So there's 48 dungeons, I believe we're gonna have at the beginning of the PvE piece of it.
What are you looking at
We have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of play. It's crazy. Can you please tell me how many?
Yeah, we have 48, right?
Yeah, I think it's
48.
So just an incredible amount of content. Oh boy.
Oh wow.
All right, so now I'm in a little bit of trouble here.
You've got. You can block one of them.
I got one guy that can block. I'll go ahead and take out one of the twos. Let's see. They're both. I don't know. This guy has Swiss strike. Not gonna really.
Yeah, get the Swiss strike guy.
Not going to matter too much.
But he went through the extra effort to give him Swiss strike.
Yeah.
You gotta play. You gotta get in those mind games.
All right, so he just buffed up a guy.
Yeah.
He's going to gain life, unfortunately, which means that this other guy's going to get bigger. But I've got my inspiration engine now. Maybe I'll...
It's going to be so inspiring.
Wait till you see what comes. Maybe like, Argus, one of the giant artifacts that allows me to exhaust it and just destroy any card. There's so many cool things that could happen here. Or I can just... And he's at 34 life, which...
That's just
with
gross.
my Volcanon. It's going to be very hard to, Volcan him out now. Oh, another one of our Cavern Commandos. That's good. So what I'll do is I'll throw out that. I'm going to go ahead and use it. Here we go.
Here we go. What's it going to be?
Create a random artifact. A charge bot.
Oh.
So I made a charge bot, a 1/1. But funny thing was, it gave me enough to use my charge power again. All right.
Well, maybe not the 6/6 we were hoping for.
No. But hey, it's little chumpers. I can start to peel away.
Yeah. You can start sniping a couple of people with the cannon.
Well, it only hits the champion.
Oh, it only can target champions.
And I've got a lot of work to do there.
Yeah.
So I can also do it during his attack, so I can still block out with some of these guys. All right, so here we are. This is now I've got to continue to potentially chump out his stuff. I'm relying on the Hex engine to save me, not on the Volcanon. But we'll still play it. We'll still play the Volcanon too. We'll see what I can make happen. Because right now I can do with 3. I can do 6 points a turn. So it's still a number of turns here. And he's gonna whittle down all my guys by sending all these dudes over. Although I got a couple Cavern Commandos now. That's great.
Something I was curious about. Is there any card trading?
Oh yeah. So we have a full-fledged auction house.
Okay.
So like an MMO, like I said, all those great MMO features. That's one of them. Full-fledged auction house. And let's see what I can do here. Maybe I can get him to make some hard choices here. I'm gonna force him. Let's see. I am going to force him.
Cory Jones thinks hard about how to intercept this wave of attackers.
He's sort of overcommitted, I think. So I got.
Oh, you're gonna try to overwhelm.
Because he can go up by 2. He's got this guy, which makes it a little harder on me.
Don't cross the streams.
I think that's it. So when he goes to use that, then I'll use my Volcan to do a little damage to him. I think that was the right way to do it. One of the great things about the game, like I've said, in the past, creativity is the backbone of all good game design, and TCGs have creativity in spades for the gamer, which is one of the things that's amazing about Hex. Again, like I talked about with the combinatorials and everything else, there's this really incredible sense of intimacy when I play Hex against other people in the alpha, and it's because it's this chance for us to see what the other person built. It's like every deck is like a little piece of art, and
how did they take the tools that you gave them?
Yeah, and also
shape them into a strategy.
Right, and then how did my little piece of art work?
And then how did those two things?
And which has been one of the things that is sort of most fun about this whole alpha experience is this incredible sense of intimacy that I get when I play the game, and with the other, even my they're my opponent, but I gotta say, the alpha feels very, much like a family experience.
Yeah, because you've also got people who are pretty committed to the game, since you do have to pay a little bit to get into the alpha.
Yeah, it's a great value. I'll tell you that right now. You get a lot of you get some exclusives. You get more than your money's worth in cards when the game launches. So you see, I used all those dwarves and robots that are going to be dying here to power up the Volcan and to shoot him. So I brought him back down into the realm of reason.
Got him out of the 30s anyway.
Yeah, that wasn't too bad. And so now we'll see how all of my blocks held up. So he gave this guy the 3/3 to keep him alive, but I think I did good on that, because now I got him down to this 7/8. So he always has to be sort of chomped. I'm down to 4 though, so
yeah, you are.
I got to be careful.
You're running on the fumes right now.
Yeah, but I'm a dice roller. Clearly, look at that. I'm
inspiration engine.
I'm all about. Okay, here it is.
Here we go. 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 It's gonna be all 6.
Oh, come Bottle on! Vitae.
There you go. Get your 3 health.
Yeah.
There you go.
It gives me.
How much was it?
1 health.
1. Oh, okay.
But let me draw a card, which I can cast another Bottle Vitae for 0. And then I'm going to gain another health and draw another card. It's also giving me charges each time, which then got me another resource, which got me the 3 charges to get another
That was a little bit inspiring.
That was fun.
You had to do a lot of things.
Yeah, no, this is good. Now I'm actually building this big group of people that charge up my Vol Cannon. So I don't attack. No. So I wait for him to wait for him to come back at me.
Bring it in.
And then I do it again. I think this time 3, 6. I think I can do another 6 or 9 points here.
I know you're crunching the numbers in your head, but I am going to go back to that auction house once you get.
Yeah, sure. Ask away. Also, are there any questions from people that they want to ask? I can answer questions.
I've been looking back for it. People. Oh yeah, something people have been asking that I meant to ask you earlier is about like the how you guys are going to be monetizing the game. So like one person wants to know like how much are booster packs going to cost?
Sure.
So, like what are you going to be charging for versus what you can get in the game?
This game is actually free to play. You get a starter deck when you first come into the game. There's hundreds of hours of content you could play and never spend 1 dime. Probably a terrible idea from the business side, but that's not how we do this. This has been about creating this great game and hoping that this all works. So let me do my blocks
I know.
here.
Yeah, do your numbers real quick here.
So 2 4/4s. I think I'm at the phase now where I am simply jumping out, but I can force him. He'll have to have 5 of 1, 2, 3.
Folks, you could cut the tension with a knife right now.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Cory Jones.
And then
at 6
there.
Health. Trying to figure out how to intercept this onslaught.
Right. This is good as like shoutcasting, which is something that's going to be great when we get to esports, having all the shoutcasters. We got an entire interface for shoutcasting when we have the live events. It'll show each player's cards, and we'll have the people in a little soundproof booth. It's going to be this incredible show we put on when we finally get there. All right, so let's do this.
Exhaust. All right, here we go. Let's exhaust a bunch of people.
I can do this. Accept.
All right, volley 1 is away.
Exhaust
now
2.
we will reload.
Did I not get 2? No,
yeah, grab that guy. There we go.
Oh, now in response, he just did something.
Just go ahead and buff that guy. Why not?
That's fine.
So now we're going to fire again.
And then I fire over here.
Puck is going to be kicking himself all day long if he cannot figure out how to deal 6 measly damage to you while you sit there behind your wall of robots and lob volcano shells onto his champion.
He's gaining a little bit from his guys with... Well, okay, let's see how this all goes. And then hopefully our inspiration engine will kick in at the end.
I know, we'll actually get something...
So back to the monetization question.
Yes.
We're very conscientious of the promise we made during the Kickstarter, which is we only sell a few things. We sell you platinum. You can use that to buy packs of cards, starter decks. You enter into tournaments because you have to have an entry fee for tournaments or else you will devalue the cards you give away as prizes.
Whoa.
And you can buy a VIP membership, which then gives you a pack every week. It's $4 for the VIP membership. It gives you a pack every week. Packs cost $2 each, so you actually get a half-price pack every week automatically sent to you, and you get a bunch of other little fun features in the game. So those are really the only ways that you have the opportunity to spend money inside of Hex. We kept it as simple as possible, and we're relying more on it just being super fun and you wanting to buy packs of cards.
Getting people invested in the game. And
buying packs of cards is fun, and we feel like that's the way we should be monetizing.
Hey, this guy.
All right, so he just gave me a Fate Rack, which doesn't do much for me. This is a great card to get rid of your opponent's deck if your goal of your deck is to make him run out of cards.
Them out, yeah.
So he buries top 2 cards of his deck.
So wait, do you not have the you lose if you run out of cards condition?
We do, but usually you're going to want a deck built around that.
Okay.
You don't just.
It looks like he's still got 46 cards.
Yeah. So here, let's just randomly force him to discard. Oh wait,
maybe you'll make him discard that one guy we made him shuffle back in.
Yeah, there you go. Let's see if we get that. That'd be fun. Yeah, we did.
Oh, are you serious?
Yes.
Ah.
Oh no, this isn't. So you'll know if it is because it would have the.
Oh, this is a different.
Yeah, he has
of
multiple copies of it. So, but that would have been.
Even so,
that was funny.
Even so, still funny.
I don't attack. He's at 18. He. Unless I draw something pretty spectacular, he's probably got this game. He's getting really on top of me now, because unfortunately we did not take out that one guy because he had Swift Strike, which I didn't realize at the time. Because I was talking.
People want to know if the socket functionality is at work in alpha.
Yes.
I think we saw a little bit of. We haven't seen so much of it this game, but we did see
last
a little
game.
bit of it.
Last game we saw some of the sockets. Not all of the gems are in at this point, but.
How do you
but a lot of them.
Are the gems cards themselves? Or like
no, there's actual interface on the socketed component of the game where you'll actually click on the socket. It brings up in a menu, and you can pick which one you want.
Oh, you get to. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so now I'm just into chumping mode, unfortunately. Let's go there. I can block out here. That's fine. And then, I have to lose one of these guys. That's sad.
I got a question queued up for you from Leafy here. Once you
I'll take one
finish
point
doing
from
your blockers.
Okay, so then I will exhaust him. What's the question?
Leafy's asking about the game's ranking system and like how are you gonna matching up different players' different skill levels, and how are you gonna balance like somebody who's poured a bunch of money into the game versus somebody who's just playing with the starting set.
Well, there are different types of tournaments available.
Okay.
So typically people are going to be queuing for the type of tournament that's most appropriate for sort of their level in the game. There is going to be, we have a lot of great learning about how TCGs work in general in the live environment, and we'll be emulating that as much as possible. So there will be, and again, a lot of this stuff is still being worked on our side. We're pretty far along, but we're still making some decisions. There are components of it where you will have rankings that actually make you sort of available for certain types of tournaments.
Okay.
But a lot of it is like, you'll queue up with 8 other people or 7 other people for an 8-man draft, basically. And then it comes down to everyone has access to the same cards in a draft pool, and it becomes how good are you at draft? How good are you at
But I mean,
playing
if
the
I'm
game?
just playing like general, like PvP, like how's the game gonna match me up with somebody?
A lot of that's self-selected, but where there'll also be rankings that you'll be sort of labeled into, where you can actually go for having casual play, and it'll match you up against people at a similar skill level.
Okay.
This is a very big issue and something that we have a lot of
Sure.
work we put into, sort of that hidden, back end, not
Yeah.
like a modified ELO sort of like, system. And it's a pretty big deal for us.
So it's something you guys are aware of. Maybe not implemented yet, but it is something.
No,
that's
it's not in yet, but we have all the back end
something you are thinking
math
about.
in place. It's just a matter
It
of
works good on paper.
Yeah, we just have to implement it. So researcher adept, when he enters play, if you control an artifact, draw a card. I'm going to go ahead and use our inspiration engine first. See what we get. Hey, look at that. We got a command tower. So all our troops get +1 on the front end. So all my guys became a little bigger. Hey,
just
that's
a
not
little
bad.
bit.
Let's go ahead and cast, let's cast the adept, the researcher adept. He draws a card. All right, so we drew another one. And then what do we draw? Oh, we drew a Oracle Song, which lets us draw 2 cards.
We'll just keep on drawing.
Yeah, maybe we're not out of this game yet. We got
hanging in there.
We've got
dude.
the Vol Cannon.
You are hanging in there. Oh my goodness. Do you Addicted Touch wants to do cards have a character level requirement to use? If you get like some really big special card, it's not gonna be like you have to be
No.
Okay.
We haven't built it.
Everything
around,
works
yeah.
within the context.
2, 4, 6. That'll take him to 6. And then I'll have 2 blockers to block out his big guys, and I'll take 2, 3, 4. Wow, this game is incredibly close.
Here for the beta key says you have him dead on the board, attack for 6, tap, untap, tap. If that helps you at all.
Tap, untap. How do I get the untap, though? Because it's going to exhaust my dwarves to attack. If I attack for 2, 4, 6, that takes him to 6. I need to use this twice, which means I will have to use one of these guys to do it, and then I have to use... I would need more dwarves. No, it doesn't.
He says, okay, so people are like, yeah, he's right. Use the cannon, Volcannon twice, tap fate rack, tap tower.
Oh, the Vol Cannon is tapping a dwarf or robot you control.
Oh.
These are...
So we can't use... Yeah, these are just
these are just artifacts.
special artifacts.
No, sadly I cannot do that. But I think the right move is...
It's a real Pandora's box we got going on.
This is an interesting turn. I can't...
Can Cory logic his way out of this situation?
1, 2...
And hang on to his 4
3.
measly life points against Puck's 12 and his army of weird
All right.
vampires
It's
and
better if I attack
archer
with
foxes.
these 2 guys. That's 4 points opposed to the 3 points I would get out of... I'm a reasonably good TCG player. I mean, I work with a bunch of just complete masters, so even though, I played in Pro Tours for Magic and have done well in the past at TCGs, I work with some people who are just incredibly good, but I try to stay as sharp as I can. I want credibility when I talk to them, and if I get rolled too quick by my R&D team, it just makes me lose credibility. All right, so he can't send everything because I can chump out.
Yeah,
and
because
then
you guys have a little extra
return.
bite now that they all have that +1.
He has to throw 2 guys at me. So what happens here is that I use he'll kill him. So 3. Oh, that sucks. Sadly, I can't take out his guy because... Oh, no, I guess I could put 2 on him and 1 on him. Yeah, okay. So I declare my blockers. I will kill one of his guys. And then I block here. And so my blockers are declared. Oh, no, that won't kill him, actually, because I'll only do 3. I keep forgetting the Swift Strike. Oh, well. Not gonna make any difference, really.
I know, as long as you just survive to the next your turn, you can lay siege.
Yeah. Oh, oops, did I? Okay. Oh, I didn't have enough to do it twice, sadly.
Yeah, you were able to reload it, but now we don't have anybody to load back into it.
Yeah, oh well. He's a 5, so I can shoot.
So close.
So if I draw...
So close.
Yeah, I'm not
He
sure.
took out one of your guys.
He has no life gain right now.
Taking away... Oh,
But he has 3 cards in his hand.
Yeah.
Who knows what this guy's going to do? So are there any other questions? Like,
People are really excited to see you win this match right now. We are all waiting.
Okay, so here it is.
Bated breath.
Wait, let's draw my card first.
And somebody wants you to clarify: is Swift Strike like the same as First Strike?
Yeah, it means you do your damage at the beginning. All right, so let's. What do we create?
Come on.
Something awesome.
Something awesome this time.
Goblin cooking pot. So this is sacrifice the artifact, deal 1 damage to each opposing champion. They each lose a charge and discard a card. So that's pretty funny.
Okay.
I have the ability now to do 6 because this costs 2. I have 8. I've got that. All right, let's do this. Well, he had discarded a resource. I was hoping maybe he had All right, so now let's we put this out.
Oh, yep.
Because it's free. Using it costs.
You gonna go ahead and cash?
Using it costs 2.
Oh,
but for 3 I can draw 2 cards. So
yeah,
I think
do that.
I think this is probably the
Cards are
because I
better.
need to
Cards are
get
better.
I need to get another dwarf or robot, I believe.
Oh, good, another cannon. Oh, look, there's what we should have gotten with the
Mm.
inspiration. And that's way too expensive.
This is rough. I've got to draw something good here. Or I'm in trouble. There it is.
There it is. Yes.
Talk about an exciting. Okay, so now, but he has 2 cards.
It could be anything. People are freaking out. Goblin cooking pot is OP.
Okay. Did he have something?
Oh man.
Let's see.
Oh man. Can he stop it? Can he stop the bleeding?
No!
Oh, he didn't! Oh my goodness, I can't believe you did that.
That was funny.
That was crazy.
That was a good game. And
Congratulations.
thank
sir.
you very much. The interesting thing is, and you'll notice if you go back over into your deck collection.
Yep. A lot of GGs coming in from the chat.
The number, I mean, and this is, we're still I think we have 80 cards we haven't even plopped in yet, but they're coming in every week. We have more and more coming. The number of combos and the number of build-arounds and the number of amazingly fun decks. I haven't shown you, I have a deck where, we have the black, the blood version of the card that levels up, the escalation card.
Okay.
Let me show it to you right here. One of my favorites, Relentless Corruption. You cast it, it takes 1 card randomly from their deck and puts it in your hand and makes all of its thresholds into blood.
Oh,
and then the next time you cast it, it gets 2. And the next time 3. So I've made decks where all I do is destroy all their creatures.
Stealing their stuff.
Stealing their stuff and playing their stuff back at them. I call it the
gross.
blood mirror.
Oh,
but
that's
that's just one of, at this point, even with this many cards, one of hundreds of conceptual decks you could be creating and playing against other people. It's so much fun. And that's the part where I see people on the message board, I've been up till 3 every night playing.
Mixing and matching and trying to.
It's crazy.
Well, Cory, thank you so much for coming by and showing off the game. That was an amazing last match there, an incredible win.
Thank you.
Remind people this game, there's an alpha they can opt into. Any plans for a open beta sometime down the line?
Yeah, absolutely. The alpha, as I mentioned before, you can go to hextcg.com. You can sign up for the Slacker backer. You'll be in the alpha within a day.
Mm-hmm.
It's a ton of fun. That will be ending in the near future. So definitely, if you want to do it, I would do it now. But then, after that, there's going to be a period where we're just in that alpha phase, and then there'll be a short sort of open beta before we go to sort of our monetized beta. But that's a ways away still.
Okay.
Like I said, it's going to be sometime at probably the Q1 of next year.
Okay, so sometime early in the early months.
Yeah. But we're everyone who's been playing the alpha will tell you it's getting better and better and stronger every week. So I would recommend everyone to come check it out.
All right. Well, thank you for stopping by, Cory. I'm Maxwell McGee. I'm saying see you next time.